There she goes. Alright, hope for the best.
Favorite memory of Luke? I don't know if I have an exact favorite moment, just spending time with him, traveling, camping and stuff. Within camping, all kinds of great stuff. Anyways, one time we left here like afternoon, got to Denver at like in the morning, 12 hours later, 13 hours later, and then we slept in a park just to get some rest before we head to the mountains. We're going to hang out in Denver and skate. And I woke up to the whole Lakai team filming Fully Flared. Eric Costin, Beeble, Mike Moe, when he was all of them. And then, so I woke Luke up because he was still sleeping. I woke, Luke, the whole Lakai team is skating this spot. This is just a city park we were sleeping in. Who broke into my car? No one broke into your car. The whole Lakai team. He gets up, fucking grabs his mat he was sleeping on. He's like trudging to his car. I'm like, dude, no one broke into your car. He's like, it all came to him. It was funny. One of the funniest homies ever. He's got a very, very good sense of humor. I steal stuff from him all the time. Genuine. When he's around, I skate more. I just have more fun. He's got my back hard. He always has. You can rely on that guy. Luke's done so much cool shit. He's the kind of guy who will go off on his own too, hit the road by himself. You always got to respect that. He's seen plenty of stuff, done plenty of cool shit. But like when people say, oh, if your life was a book, would people want to read it? I'm like, I don't know. I'd write one about Luke. He's done some interesting shit, if you ask me. I feel like I remember some of it better than he does. Yeah, I love that guy. He's a good friend.
What's your name, your age, and how'd you get into skateboarding?
Luke Sandberg, 41. I had a, how did I get into skating? The year was 96. I built the ramps before I could even skate, so I had this maybe 3-foot quarter pipe before I could even skate. I had rollerbladed. Skating was way harder, skateboarding. But yeah, before I could even ollie or anything, I could axle stall and little 50 grinds on a quarter pipe, sketchy ass quarter pipe. Yeah, my dad was a carpenter. I had all the wood, all the tools, make these ramps before I could even skate them. And so yeah, since I was 16, had a little fun box, a little jump box. It was sick. I do a little early grad.
16, that's like a little late bloomer. Usually
Super
people
late.
start.
Super late. Well, okay, this is pre-internet.
Oh, yeah.
Town of 1,000 people, Mechanicsville. When I was adopted, I went to Mechanicsville. That's where they lived. 1,000 people, no internet, and so we had this one friend, Joelle. She moved from like LA or somewhere in California, and she was wearing like Janko jeans before anybody else knew it was cool, and like she was all about the skating. She kind of brought the current times to this little town in the middle of Iowa that was living in like the 70s, and yeah, that's how I started skating. A couple older kids knew what was up.
So you were born in South Korea.
Born in South Korea.
And adopted
Yeah.
by a family in Mechanicsville.
By a family in Mechanicsville. This is before the internet. They had these catalogs called the Holt Adoption Agency booklets, and my parents flipped through it and saw my picture, and they wrote the check, waited a year. The year was 1982. I was 2.
Was there any issues with the birth certificate, like Ben?
Yes, actually, I went to go get my ID since moving back to Iowa, and it was super hard because I was adopted. I had to jump through some hoops. It took like a month to get my license.
Wow.
Which was super annoying because then I couldn't get a fishing license. Like, I was all fucked up for like a month, yeah. So when I was 16, right around when I started skateboarding, I was messing around with a bunch of drugs, hardcore hallucinogenics, and wrecked my car, got naked, broke into someone's house, and fell asleep on their couch. And the police came, my parents came, I was naked, bloody from breaking the window, and I had to go to rehab in Cedar Rapids, which is a good thing. And I met all my Cedar Rapids friends, skated the Penny Saver, learned how to 50-50. I'd stay there all night trying to 50-50. Yeah.
You've obviously told this story before.
Some people know it.
Because I swear, I don't know why this sounds familiar, but I swear I might have heard that and be like, there's no fucking way.
Some people know it. So they're called microdots, little things of mescaline. I think it's synthetic. I put it in my eye.
Holy crap.
Yeah, super good decision making back when I was 16. And wrecked my car. It was totaled. Yeah. And so it was either jail time or rehab. I went to rehab, and that's how I even started going to Cedar Rapids anyway.
Okay, Jason, what comes to mind when you think of Luke?
What comes to mind is he is really easygoing and spontaneous, which you love. And then one of the first memories would be meeting a Penny Saver. That's kind of when I met him ages ago. He's from Mechanicsville, but he would hang out in CR occasionally.
Later that year, I was working at APAC. I don't know if you remember what that is.
Yeah.
Telemarketing.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to high school, and my friend Jason had a spot open on his couch. I started renting his couch and living in Cedar Rapids. Yeah.
So you moved out of your parents' house before,
At 16. Yeah.
Before you were 18. Wow.
Yep.
And they didn't care, or they were cool with it. They supported you.
I was kind of going nowhere in Mechanicsville, hanging out with the wrong crowd, and so I think hanging out with the skaters was better. Could be worse.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, these kids were old enough to drink and stuff, but they were just solid people. I think my parents could see that.
All right, Paul. What comes to mind when you think of Luke, and what's your favorite memory of Luke?
Okay, favorite memory. There isn't one. There's many, because we definitely spent a lot of time. So many skate park trips, or just filming trips, or just hanging out. There's not like a favorite memory. There's an overabundance of favorite memories. There had been several little, crews from Cedar Rapids that made like little, your typical skate video, ourselves included and whatnot. But it was, just like somebody's high-8 camera that somebody's parents had, or even that somebody got, but it'd be like, like really not too much emphasis on filming and editing and all this. And I remember the time, the time frame vividly, like when we all started kind of skating together, and like things started kind of happening as far as progression goes, and then when Luke went and got a VX 2100, or I don't think it was the 1000, but it was a VX, and that changed everything. All of a sudden, it went from us, he'd hit us up, or we were gonna go skate and whatnot, and went from like dabbling with the camera, like not really knowing too much, and testing things out and playing with it until he's completely mastered it, and then that really changed everything as far as the skate scene. Inadvertently, it's not like he was trying to do it like that. For those reasons, he was just good at what he does and really got into it. And you can tell he really loves it, and it shows in all his productions and everything that he does as far as camera wise. Same thing. He was the first person one of the first people that I remember getting like a HD camera. Also, again, mastering that, and just not just that. He'd always push us, or he's always a good energy to have on the skate session, and not like you should go jump down this fucking 10 stair. It'd be like just good energy and good vibes, and all of us skating and having a good time. And I don't know, I'd always felt better, or like more reassured when Luke was there, in some situations, not just filming wise, because I wouldn't be fucked up, but also just having a good crew, and so yeah. Luke's the man.
What comes to mind when you think of Luke?
Comes to mind when I think of Luke, fucking skate, fucking life, fucking motherfucker loves it. He's in it. He doesn't do any of the shit that you fucking see. If you think it's cool or not, that's not why he did it. He did it because he loves it, and he's a fucking skate rat.
Do you remember your first setup?
Yes, I do. So it was a used setup from these older kids. It was a Tony Hawk with Ventures. The trucks were cracked. I didn't know that was wrong, but it was like, man, these bearings suck. No, the trucks were cracked. The Tony Hawk graphic was scratched off, and I drew it in with a marker, and yeah, it was the OG Hawk graphic or whatever.
So, do you remember the first skate video you ever saw?
Definitely didn't see any in Mechanicsville. It was later, once I came to Cedar Rapids. I want to say it was H Street. I want to say it was Hocus Pocus, all that shit. Spitus and Brown and Clint, they would watch the good shit. You know what? I actually think it was one of the Cliché videos. They were all about those French videos. Remember, before Cliché, Freedom Fries, Bon Appetit, I think it was Freedom Fries. I remember we all went in, like 3 of us went in to buy Menic Madi.
Dude.
Never disappointed. It came in a red tape. It was like
worth
the $30. I was so blown away when like they started putting legit videos on Thrasher on YouTube, and like the free shit, not the tour shit, changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. We got to see it change.
All right, what comes to mind when you think of Luke, and what's your favorite memory of Luke?
Really, the thing that comes to mind about Luke is someone who just kind of does his own thing, and I really respect that. He's not influenced by other people. He's always down to skate, and that's what keeps him young and healthy. Is he just always is pushing it and doing what he wants to do. For him, I believe more than anybody, and I really have a lot of respect for that. Memories, just always skating with Luke. And one time, he had an apartment over here in Marin, and the power went out, and we were just burning candles and hanging out in the dark, and me, Mango, and a few other people were there. Reese probably. It was a good time. That was definitely one of my favorite memories. And also, tons of skating, lots of skating, definitely lots of snowboarding as well. It's always just a good time with Luke, and it's always an adventure for sure.
Do you remember the first pro you ever met or saw in person?
Yes. Still pre-internet. Tony Hawk was doing his gigantic. I mean, I'd been to demos and stuff, but like I'd never kicked it with any pro. So we were in Minneapolis randomly, and there to skate, and Tony Hawk had the big Huck Jam whatever tour, and what was his name? Alex Chalmers. Do you remember him from the Flip Team?
Yeah.
Him and Kerry Getz were like looking to street skate, and we met them randomly, and I sold Alex Chalmers like maybe some of the worst pot I'd ever seen in my life. That's all I had, and I sold it to him. I felt so bad. It was like apologizing for how much it cost for what you get for that money. And yeah, we skated around. Kerry Getz did this insane caveman board slide. Yeah, they were ripping, of course. And super cool dudes.
When I think of Slew, shit, a lot of things come to mind, but the main thing would be creativity and genuineness, and just, he always put a lot of heart and soul into everything he did. Always down to give somebody an opportunity, always down to film somebody. Yeah, if you don't know Slew's work, please go check it out. You won't regret it. You'll enjoy every minute of it. Go to YouTube, SLEWKE, Slew. Definitely someone that I used to look up to a lot and used to love filming with. He's got an amazing vision. Just knows how to capture things and put it together to where when you sit back and watch it, you're just gonna be like, damn, like my dog really, he put me on, he let me shine. And that's one thing I always loved about the man. Aside from his overall demeanor and attitude, just real humble, quiet, and like just always down to help people win. I'm definitely grateful and honored to be able to own this camera. A lot of work went on with it. I'm not really sure who all owned it, but I know that Slew definitely put in a lot of work on it. I actually got it from Dillard, who got it from Slew, I think. And yeah, that's a piece of history right there. That's Cedar Rapids history. This ain't going to the motherfucking museum when I'm done with it. Not because I used it, I don't give a fuck about that, but because so much Cedar Rapids history is on this motherfucking thing, you don't even know. But yeah, I just want to say thank you, Slew, for all that you've done. I have so many memories that I can't even pick one. I just remember shit from the Roosevelt to the Iowa Realty building to the fucking shit from the skate park to the tree to Iowa City, Des Moines, Davenport, Decorah, you name it, we was there skating. The Pock Ranch, you helped build some of that shit. You helped film a lot of that shit. That was more Dillard's territory, but I know you was in there doing it. Yeah, Slew's the man. He can skate, he can film, he can snowboard, he can put videos together, he can climb rocks in his car. What can't the man do? I don't fucking know. Hats off to you, brother. Love you. Peace.
Well, what would you say is your greatest memory skateboarding?
Okay, I was always the youngest out of the group, and we went to Rampage in Davenport, and I was right after the Menigmati drop, whatever, tons of Tom Penny hype, on the, they had like a wavy quarter type deal. I did a frontside flip, Muska style, but still, and I landed my very first one. All my friends went nuts. That was like, carried me out of the place on their shoulders type of, yeah, that was probably the greatest. It's all downhill from there. Thanks, bro.
So top three
skaters. Alexis Ramirez, Wes Kramer, and who's that other? Just said his name. Not Tyler Surrey, but he could be on there. He does all the sex changes, the cool sex change tricks.
Oh, is it
Steven Lawler?
Is it? I was gonna say, is it Stefan or Steven? Steven Lawyer.
Yeah, I would probably say Steven Lawler.
I've heard
Maybe
people
it's
say Lawyer.
Maybe it is.
All right, Dylan, what comes to mind when you think of Luke, and what's one of your favorite memories with Luke?
It's a loaded question there. What comes to mind? I don't know, just straight up raw, badass dude. You know, like he's just well-rounded in just about everything he does. I can't really think of anything that he's bad at. Legitimately, snowboarding, skateboarding, cars, trucks. Damn good at talking to people. Pretty cordial, professional. Just he's a legend in my opinion. One of my favorite memories is when I moved out there and got to skate with him in a different state, a different setting than out here. And he opened his arms, and he was just super welcoming, to somebody who was new to a state that I had never been to, and took me out wheeling for the first time, and I saw my first moose driving in the back seat, hitting rocks and smacking my head on his window, and I don't know, watching him just skate with so much flow was always a pleasure, It was awesome. It was a treat. He's an all-around rad dude, and you should definitely watch him skate if you don't know what I'm talking about, because it just blow your mind. He's ageless, Yeah.
And I want to paint over them to protect from rust, but at the same time, I earned every one of them.
Yeah.
I earned that. I earned these. See how that's dented in? That's like heavy-duty steel. Every little ding I earned. The whole belly is scratched up.
Yeah, I mean, this has been like this for so long.
It's a shame to paint over it because, those are my badges, Clear coat. You call it wheelin'.
Wheelin'?
Short for,
See, I didn't know that.
yeah, short for four-wheelin'. So I got into astrophotography. I would do time lapses of the stars. A friend of mine had a Tacoma and drove us up to the top of a mountain. We camped for the night, set our cameras up, and then came back down the next morning. And to see the power of not just four-wheel drive, but four-low, a dual-range transfer case, to be able to creep down a mountain without even touching the brakes, creep up a mountain without even hitting the gas, just crawling right along, I was instantly hooked. And so got rid of the Subaru and got a 4Runner and was all about it from then on.
So you had a Subaru and a 4Runner at the same time?
I had a Subaru first, and that was good. I never got stuck, I got.
What kind?
I was Forester.
Forester?
Went through a bunch of deep snow, camping and stuff, but there's just a difference between. There's a huge difference between all-wheel drive and 4x4, and one of the main differences is 4-low, the power of 4-low gearing. And so what 4-low does, it takes what comes out of the transmission and multiplies it by 2.6, or it varies from make to make, but you just have over double, almost triple the torque. Torque is so important for off-road. Horsepower is all about street racing. How fast can I go before I cross a line? Mm-hmm. Or torque is how far could I push a brick wall if I was nosed up against it,
Okay.
Muscle. And so off-road, it's all about torque.
Well,
so then I got the 4Runner. I got the 4Runner to upgrade from the all-wheel drive Subaru Forester. And I forget what it was I broke first, but instantly I needed something, and it was, I don't know, $600-700. Looked up how to do it myself, did it myself, saved a bunch of money, and from then on, if I wanted to go off-road, I had to be able to fix it myself. I couldn't be paying $1,000 for whatever.
Yeah.
And so the only way to really do it was to fix it myself. And very mechanically inclined, comes very naturally. And I took off from there. I started repairing other people's stuff and started getting paid for it. Years later, doing it full-time, part-time. And it all stemmed from getting that 4Runner and needing to do stuff on it. It was going to cost so much to have it done. versus doing it myself.
All right, Ramon. What comes to mind when you think of Luke, and what's your favorite memory with Luke?
When I think what comes to mind, a big brother figure. First big homie to really accept me and like take me in the streets. Like nothing but love for that man. Nothing but love for that man. Great times with him back in the early 2000s. Great filmer for his time. Like definitely a great dude. And best memory, my favorite memory with Luke was me, Luke, Ben Otting, Collin, and Jacob Vance. And we all like packed in Luke's car and fucking went to Des Moines. And on the way to Des Moines, I'm on the phone like the whole time just being a fucking shit. And like Luke, had rolled up some hash and like I didn't know it was straight hash. Rolls up the hash, like puts it in rotation, like telling everybody tread lightly, and I'm just in my own zone. I end up with it. I'm just power chiefing it just on the phone. Everybody like ends up like, whoa, what are you doing? Like chill. I'm like, bro, I'm a fucking pro. Like, fuck you talking about? Smoke or whatever. And then like I pass it and it just hits me and everyone's like, bro, that was like straight hash. Me and Collin are just like the young kids, fucking fried out, get to Des Moines, couldn't even skate, like watched everybody sesh for like fucking 5 hours, didn't do a single fucking thing. But so many more great memories, but that's my favorite.
Nice.
So, was there, because I know you filmed a lot of Eric, was
Lots
there
of
a time where you considered being like
Oh yeah.
a filmer?
Oh yeah.
For like,
that was the goal.
For like,
be a pro filmer.
be like a pro, whatever it's called. Yeah, being a professional filmer for
basically,
skateboarding.
at the time, I don't know what it's like these days, but at the time it was like hustle the clips. You got to sell the clips. You're basically pen pals with all these TMs, and you have to sell the clips of the skater. And what you get for it is going to depend on like, can you hustle? And I'm not trying to hustle these clips. I'll give it to you for free. Just get my name out there as exposure. And I was way in over my head. Like, I was a technical filmer. I'm not a salesman. And you kind of got to be a salesman to sell your shit.
Mm-hmm. So like, how did that all come about though? Like,
all Eric.
Because
yeah.
So Eric's like, I need somebody to film me for whatever, and you would film him
stacking footage,
and he would be like, okay, you gotta call this person, email this person.
Eric was super out of the loop. He was super aloof. He was just a skater. I had to figure out who the team managers were for these different companies.
So how would you do that?
I feel like one of the Mob Mafia dudes, maybe Sean, maybe Joe, like, oh, send it here and here, and it's like, and so the Flip, Toy Machine, whatever. Almost. Those were my contacts, and so I'm sending them clips, and wouldn't hear a thing, and every now and then you'd hear something, but really, one day.
How did you send it? Because this is back with tapes, right?
Yeah, back with tapes. I'd send the digital file, and maybe that's not the right thing to do. Maybe you have to put the tape in an envelope. I don't know. So I'd send that digital file to them, and none of it was really used. I think a couple clips were used.
And do you know what?
I don't even remember, honestly. It was before the.
Did you ever like film him in California?
No.
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 Just all here. Okay.
All here. Ellie. It was before. I had a couple of things in there, but like before that, had a couple things I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Really should if I was.
And it's just like it was just too much of a hassle. Like,
honestly,
not hassle, but just like.
It wasn't the
there
job.
was just no good communication, pretty much, right? Or
really, it wasn't the job for me. My strengths were like the technical ability and just filming. Like, you have to be so much more than that to be a filmer. You have to sell your clip. You have to not be a social weirdo. You have to be able to be friends with all these different TMs and like. And I just couldn't do that. I could film. I could, whatever. But there's just so much more to it.
So once you like found that part out, you're like, all right, I'm done with it.
Pretty much, like, I wish I could just film, give the clips to somebody, they sell them and pay me, like, I'll trust you. If that could have all been taken care of, probably still be all about it. But really, it's so much of it is hustling the clips.
Yeah.
So if you're a used car salesman that could film skateboarding, you'd probably do really well in the industry. You get the most money for your clips, and like otherwise it's all out of pocket, and like yeah.
Okay, Travis, what comes to mind when you think of Luke, and what's one of your favorite memories with Luke?
When I think of Luke, I think of longevity, progression. He's just continued to progress. Like the older he gets, he still progresses in skating, which is usually like contrary to the norm. Just his overall curiosity and love for life. His curiosity has never faded, even with age, which is also uncommon. And just something that comes to mind when I think of Luke is when he used to live downtown in an apartment. I went over to his place and I saw that he had built this loft bed, and it was in his apartment. So I just imagined him hauling like 2x4s and lumber up an elevator and assembling it, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. He's just such a multi-faceted person. When I was leaving after he had built that loft bed, I noticed this really cool painting that he made. And so he's much more than just like a skateboarder. He's like a lover of life. He's an aspirational person who just never stops being curious and learning.
What motivated you to move from Cedar or just Iowa to Colorado?
Oh, back in the day, all of our homies would go snowboarding, and I was probably at the peak of my filming. I just wanted to go film them. And so for the first couple of years living out there, I didn't even hardly snowboard. I just filmed all my friends doing it.
Do you film a lot of Andrew?
A lot of Andrew.
Okay.
Mostly Andrew, yeah.
Nice.
So you see where, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole, first 3 years of snowboarding, I don't have a single clip. I could barely even turn or stop or have control. It's because I just filmed everyone else all the time. And, once I started snowboarding myself and, learning how to snowboard, is I kind of just put the camera down and just started having a good time, and I got better quick.
Yeah.
I had ate mushrooms, went to a mountain I'd never been to before, and I was flying down this hill. I was giggling, having such a great time, and then I came over this crest. There were a bunch of moguls, and I just started cartwheeling and somersaulting, and my trip was ruined. I got fucked up.
Again,
you go so much faster on a snowboard that you can I've ripped my butt. One cheek hit the ground, the rest of my body kept going. I had to have stitches.
All right, Joe, what comes to mind when you think of Luke, and what's your favorite memory with Luke?
It comes to mind just a guy that's super hyped on skating. Even at his age, to see him so into it still progressing, always down to do it. It's nice having a guy around like that because it kind of rubs off on you. Favorite memory is nothing in particular, just when he lived in the Roosevelt apartment downtown. We'd always go out on night missions, just cruise around downtown, film. He would film a lot of times. We'd always end up back at his place and just watching all of it. Those are good times.
And so were you into camping before wheeling? Or did wheeling help you get into camping?
No, I've been into it before that. I've always been super into it.
So you would do that no matter what car you were driving?
No matter what car.
Okay.
When I was 12, I went to MacGyver camp. It was called MacGyver camp, and it was this summer camp where we were given a spring and a tarp and a roll of duct tape, and you got to go catch a fish and do all this shit. It was so sick, and that was a big part of my life, MacGyver camp. And then I would do laps around the country. That's what I did in my 20s. Florida to New York to Washington to California.
Holy crap.
And camping the whole time.
I do remember seeing.
I've done some laps.
Video. I'm pretty sure it's video. Pictures for sure, but of you up in Washington skating some pretty neat parks.
There were neat parks up there. And I'm sure now it's even more modern.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many more. But
it's
Yeah, Astoria, like where the Goonies was filmed, they had a kind of a neat little park in Bellingham and like Seattle. But after Katrina, I went down there and skated, did the loop, but skated. I went to saw Katrina all fucked up. It was gnarly. And go through like Florida, and every little town had a skate park. Mm-hmm. It's sick. That's probably what I'd keep keep
I was
doing.
gonna say, having already done that, you would definitely do it again.
I'd definitely do it again. The biggest factors were like I had a cat. I had to get home within like a month and a half is pushing it. That's like too long. And so that was
you
like
would
the
do
biggest.
all that in a month?
Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
And so if you could spend a month in every state, that's what I would do. If I had the money, I'd spend a month in every state, skating around, camping, doing all that shit. Yeah. I like British Columbia.
So you've been there?
Been there. When I was early 30s, I did a big loop, but then I added Alaska in. And so
wow.
From Washington, put my Ford Subaru onto a, what do you call it, the big ass boat that you can put a car on? A ferry. Yep. Ferried up to Alaska, drove around Canada, came back into Alaska. I rode on this little plane, like a 8-seater or something, up to the Arctic Circle, Barrow, Alaska. It's like
just by yourself?
By myself, yep.
So how do you like find
camping
out?
The whole time.
How do you like? Where do you like get information to like know to do that? You're just like winging it the whole time.
Winging it.
Or like you had an idea, you had an idea where you want to go,
yeah.
and you just kind of just like.
I had a loose itinerary. Like I wanted to go to Mount McKinley, is like the biggest, I don't know, mountain in the United States, North America or something. I wanted to see Mount McKinley, which is in Denali Park, so I had to do that. I wanted to go to Nome, which is like way west coast, but I never got to do that. I wanted to go up to Barrow, did that in a little plane, and just camping the whole time.
So it's like pretty easy for you to talk to strangers then, huh? Like, or ask.
Oh no, I avoid all the people. I'm not asking anybody for shit. Like, no, I would talk to like the lady at the diner, and she would give me tips on like, yeah, you should really go check out this place and this place.
Okay.
I'm like, sick, I'll go do that. And like, yeah, I talked to some people, keep it minimum. Didn't really fish. I guess I took a lot of photos. I was super into cameras at the time still.
Yeah.
And yeah, have fire every night, and like,
So have you
camping.
been to all 50 states? Or do you even know?
I think,
do you have like
no, I've never been past New York, and there's like Maine and like whatever.
all those, little.
Never been
like
past.
Connecticut or not even.
You know what? I never even been to New York. A lot of the East Coast stuff, no.
Yeah, there's so
West
many
Coast,
little.
I've been to every state in the West Coast. Most of the Southern. But not a lot of the East Coast. Went to Korea too, South Korea, just to check it out. Seen the orphanage where I would have grown up had I not been adopted.
How old were you then?
I was like early 20s.
Okay.
Early 20s, maybe 23 or something. Got to see Korea.
Okay. All right, Jeremy, what comes to mind when you think of Luke, and what's one of your favorite memories with Luke?
Okay, so what comes to mind with Luke, for me, is more or less just everything that he's been about. Like, he's always been about skateboarding. I mean, I don't know how many art projects he would have, you know what I mean, going at his house. He'd have hands, faces, mannequins. He'd be working on digital stuff, skateboarding videos. Always had a nice eclectic sound of music, which is always one of my favorites. Favorite memory? I don't know. Probably, I mean, like we were just talking about that. I don't think it's any memories. I mean, my time with Luke, I think, has been more or less like just blurs of enjoyment, blurs of road trips, skateboarding, going to a park here, going to a park there, going to his house, watching skate videos, getting introduced to people that maybe were a little younger than me, maybe I would have never ran into without meeting him. And I mean, I think that sums up Luke. A good friend, a good person to bridge the gap between maybe age groups, maybe just different people. and always creative. So that how can you go wrong with someone who's creative all the time? Honestly.
Oh no! It's like when you're in your 20s. It's like I got all the time in the world. I'm sleeping until 1, and like now, like I feel so guilty if I sleep in like till 9. I feel guilty because like I wasted all this time, and time you can't buy time.
No.
So.
Yeah, you're definitely someone to look up to. As
damn,
like
thanks,
this
dude.
dude's like you're living life to the fullest.
Thanks,
no
dude.
regrets. Like
I feel
that's admirable.
I feel like thank you, dude. It's hard to wait for people's schedules. Everything line up.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So you just gotta go, or next thing you know, you're gonna be 40 and you didn't do shit. And so like I would just go, and if that meant camping alone and being alone for like a month, like that's what it was. And it was super sick.
What comes to mind when I think of Luke? Skating, snowboarding, wheeling. He's always down to help me out when my truck breaks down. Yeah, good memories. I just remember him doing that like backside 5-0 on the mini ramp, and then like what would it be, like back 270 out, like the hard way. I always thought that was like the coolest shit. But yeah, just all around good dude, willing to help out, really fun to skate with, really fun to snowboard with, really fun to wheel with.
Tools galore. This is the prize right now. It's the front differential from a Tacoma 2005 to 2015. It's got 488 gears in it. And then I'm going to replace the gears in the 4Runner right now to 488s. And that'll be put the shift points and the speedometer back to stock with bigger tires. And so I'm really excited about that. And so with these simple tools, like I could replace your transmission in your driveway, bam. Yeah. I do have more specialty tools in Mechanicsville. I'm still moving, still in the process. I keep trophies a lot. Like here's one of the worst ball joints I've ever seen. I've seen failed ones, but this one was just hanging on. And that is like,
oh my God.
The owner should have bought a lottery ticket because he was winning the lottery every day he was driving this thing. It's the same thing that had me excel in other areas, like filming or this and that. Attention to detail is the same thing with cars. Put that attention to detail towards the car and you do a above average job. I'm not perfect. I'm not the world's gift to mechanic work, but I do above average work. I do good work.
Okay, so what's next for Luke?
Same thing. If I could skate in 2022, I'd be super hyped. I kind of look at it like 2021 could have been the last year. If I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it. But it's going good. Hopefully I can skate in 2022. Hopefully I can skate the year after and the year after, but yeah, I don't know. Same thing, travel. Same thing as I'm doing. It's all going good except for that fucking dog.
Just living life to your fullest.
Yeah.
Of your ability.
Pretty simple. Like I don't need all this crazy shit. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, like I'm happy. Skate, camp, chill, travel, animals, little yard. Like I don't need the newest PlayStation or the biggest this or that. Like I have what I need. Like I'm doing what I want to do. If I could do this next year, that's all I really want. What I don't have is more time. So if I could make the most out of 2022, do the front board, the Des Moines 9, like all this shit that I've been wanting to do. Like I got big little goals. Like if I could just get to there, then I'm doing what I want to do. Like this is it.